welcome to CC Writes. My name is CC Lepke, and today I am finishing up some old short stories of mine, and I'm going to be doing it using writing sprints. So these are the ones I've been working on for a while now, but what I was doing on previous days was taking random story ideas and putting them together to make a series of short stories. Now I'm going to finish up the short stories that I haven't actually finished yet, and that way I can go on and write a few more without getting overwhelmed with how many stories I haven't finished. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on this writing sprint then. Just like always, I'm going to do 25 minutes and then take a short break after. This first short story that I did, it was meant to be read from 3 different perspectives to sort of heighten the suspense of the story. So I'm going to tell the story from the individual perspectives first without switching between them. And then when I go through to edit it later, I can move around the sections to heighten the intensity of it as it goes on. I actually wrote the beats out the way that it needs to be done for each particular character, so that's good. First writing sprint out of the way, that's good. I got a pretty good way into this story. I finished one of the characters' story arcs. The other 2 aren't quite as long as hers because hers is the main story that I want to go through and then splice in the perspective of the other 2 characters. All that I really have left for the other 2 characters is to have one of them get home, realize that he messed up and didn't pick up his daughter from school, get yelled at by his wife, and then race to the school to find that his daughter is gone. And then the other perspective is just the kidnapper seeing the teacher go into the school and leave the little girl alone, make the decision to go up and talk to her, and then lead her away. Yeah, that's not much at all, actually. Although I do tend to be a little bit long-winded with my stories, so this is turning out to be a lot longer than I initially wanted it to be. I think I've gotten, let's see, this is 1, 2, yeah, it's about 3 or 4 pages already, which is not exactly what I was going with, but it shouldn't be more than maybe 2 or 3 pages more. It's a bit longer, but it'll be fine, I think. I've just been having a really long day. My goodness, I'm tired. I have been reading a lot lately. I've been reading the Cape High series, which is by R.J. Ross. I've mentioned it before. I really like these stories. They're mostly stories just for entertainment's sake, but I think that as far as a story meant to just entertain people, she does a really good job at that. There are a ton of books in this series too. I think I have like 22 of them. And they're all digital books, so they're not terribly expensive. So as far as like going out and buying a bunch of books, I usually think this is pretty okay, especially since I get it like sparsely over time. It's a lot easier than going to the store and getting like one book for $25 because it's brand new and still in hard copy or whatever. And that's usually what I do because I really like having my physical copies of books. They're also a really quick read, and I like that a lot too. Sometimes you just need something that you can read in half a day, which is about how long it takes to read most of the books in the series, because she only goes with like about 9 chapters for each one. So the next part of this that I need to do is I need to write the dad's perspective in this story, or finish writing the dad's perspective. I think it was a good idea to go one by one on each of the character perspectives and then just intermix it as much as I need to later. I think I can be happy with that decision. But I'm going to go ahead and start on the next writing sprint. I like doing writing sprints. It's a lot of fun for me, and it helps like focus in what I need to do on each of my stories, and then gives me a chance to rest between each sprint so that I can sort of recuperate and refocus myself. So, finally finished one of my short stories. That's good. So the one I'm working on now is the tragedy Meet Cute, which is a tragedy that was supposed to have a meet cute in it. And this was one of the hardest ones that I had to plot out of all of the ones that I came up with. So I'm really proud of what I did come up with for it. And I even got a pretty good way into the story. Plus, I was smart enough to write out the last part of what all needs to be written in this one. I don't think I did that for any other story. I really should have. I'm smarter than that. I just don't think things through too much. So I have a good idea of how everything is going to work out, and I even came up with an extra little thing to add in tension to there. So I'm really excited about being able to finish this one up. And then after I'm done with this one, I think I've got 4 stories. Yeah, I've only got 4 stories left that need finished after that. I think I'll be able to complete my tragedy Meet Cute before the end of today with all of the writing sprints that I'm doing. I hope I'll be able to at least finish this one. I've definitely got a lot to look forward to. One of the things that I want to do is go through and edit all of these as well after I'm done, which isn't going to be today, but I'll do it on another streaming day. What I'd like to do is the first step that I take in my editing process is to read through everything out loud. So my plan is to have a day where I just go through and read all of the short stories that I've come up with. And I think that'll be a lot of fun because I'm not being terribly secretive about these either. I don't mind sharing stories for free, especially because this is just writing practice for me. It's practice in writing in multiple genres. It's also a good brainstorming and plotting exercise. So even though I'm coming up with a whole bunch of different story ideas for it, it's not really any part of my serious writing that I do. Time for another writing sprint. It keeps freezing and that's causing me a lot of problems. I usually do not have this much trouble with Google Docs, but lately I've been running into this a lot and I don't like it. Oh, okay, that was the end of my 3rd writing sprint for today. I'm almost done with this one. I thought I was going to be able to finish it completely during that last one, but I got really close. I think I've only got maybe a paragraph or 2 to go, so that's really exciting. I got through the part that I was most worried about, which is creating the sort of tension between them while they're on the elevator, because I needed them to have a little bit of a misunderstanding that happens and then have it quickly get cleared up just as the elevator doors were opening up and the shooter inside of the convention can kill the main character, because I'm morbid like that. And yeah, I think that all worked out really well. I don't think it needs to be too overly powerful of a moment. I don't think I need to put in any dying moment last words that are, I don't know, proverbial or anything like that. I think it just needs to be a nice sad moment and then have it quickly be over. Sort of that realization of opportunity lost. That's what I'm looking for. And I think that's what's the most powerful thing about this tragedy, is the sort of aftermath that can happen after a traumatic experience, especially when there was this opportunity for something really good that could have happened had they not been in that position at that time. And then after I'm done with that one, the next story, The next story was a literary fiction about someone who is tempted to cheat and gives in. I'm already a pretty good way through this one as well, so that's nice. And honestly, I think finishing at least 2 stories through this is pretty good. I'm really excited by the progress that I was able to make through those. It'll probably take me maybe 1 more writing sprint after this to finish all of the ones that I have. Yeah, that's good. I'm excited. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and move on to my very last writing sprint of the day. And here we go. I'm trying to write a flirting scene, but I don't really flirt, and so this is really awkward for me. I mostly know flirting through like teasing, because that's what my husband does. So what I'm trying to do at this point in this story is get around to the man trying to like go back to the main character's room with her. Have her do a little bit of pushback, but be kind of like going back and forth on it. To get there, I need this flirting to go really well. So far, I like where it is, but I don't really know how to like transition it. That's what I'm struggling with. I've never really written anything like this before either. That's making it kind of difficult. Well, I couldn't finish this one before the end of the writing sprint because it froze. And also because I wasn't close enough to the end to finish it. But I got a pretty long way. I finished 2 of my stories. Yeah, I still got this one to finish and then 3 others. So I've only got 4 stories left. After I'm done with those, I will probably go through and do a live editing session. Well, it won't really be an editing session. It'll be my first read through of the stories after they're fully written. And I think that should be pretty fun. But this is where I'm going to leave it here for today. I got a good amount of work in. I'm happy with everything that I've done. Thank you so much for joining me today on CC Writes. I really hope you enjoyed our time together, and I will see you later.